structured plan for 2023 AFC Asian Cup in order to maximize the multicultural engagement among different communities in Australia. Here is our content. The AFC Asian Cup is an international association football competition run by the Asian Football Confederation. It is the second oldest continued football champions in the world. The Asian Cup was held every 4 years from 1956, and it will expand from the 16 teams to 24 teams starting in 2019. So in order to know more about the Asian Cup, let's have a look about a fantastic video.
Here's the free kick to pass back. Do they find a goal? It's Obadori. There's the goal! Jacko Baisha for their first goal at the Asian Cup finals. Osri inside the penalty area, going this way, then can he finish? Oh, delightful, is it over the line? Linesman says penalty. It was off the crossbar and then off the arm of Ri Yong-jik, and a red card too for Ri Yong-jik, whose tournament is over. From Park Korea, they've scored! North Korea have scored through Ryang Yong-gi.
Azazi, pretty casual, and one Darway comes up big for China. Beautiful skill, and he rides a challenge on two. What about the run from Omar Abdul Rahman?
And Ned, look at this early ball from Omar Abdul Rahman, and it's an amazing goal, only seconds on the clock, and it's Ali Makut. Remain vulnerable defensively, particularly when this man's on the ball. Hamza Al-Badour could be a hat-trick. There it is. First hat-trick of the Asian Cup. Hamza Al-Badour. So China, they're going to go to the quarterfinals with a 100% record.
Back to our topic. Australia as a new member of Asian Confederation, which we usually call AFC, in 2007, and it was successfully hosted competition in 2015. The matches was played in 5 different cities: Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Canberra, and Newcastle. Beyond its sporting significance, the 4 years event provides unique opportunities for commercial and diplomatic and cultural engagement between Australian and key countries in Asia. So to analyze the resources from 2015 Australia Asian Cup, our group had come up with the 4 clear areas of its achievement. The first one is successfully delivered a world-class event, and it also increased Australia's reputation in the Asia football industry. And the second one is driving the tourism from outside to Australia. And the 15,000 tourists from overseas visited the Australian state, especially for the Asian Cup during that time. And the third one is promoting the trade and investment. There are more than 300 jobs was created and $81 million of direct expenditure built, and it also built the two-way training partner relationships with other Asian countries after the event. And the last one is the community engagement. It is the first time to use the 200 ambassadors and which is successfully engage the audience in competitions. So as we all know, Australia has the world experience from 2015, which is host this game, and also have the fulfillment of infrastructures or some facilities. And also Australia has a multicultural society, and there has history evidence. And more than the 27% of Australians' overseas-born population is from Asia. And 24% of Australians' long-staying migrant are Asian-born. And Australia's largest export markets are China, Japan, and South Korea. So due to the situation, our group decided to appoint the Australian under 2023 AFC Asian Cup to host this game again. And we mainly target and focus on the aspect of multicultural engagement. But firstly, we need to understand what means about the multicultural engagement in Australia, which means the extent to which people adapt to and learn about the new culture in Australia and also communicate with other Asian countries or community groups. And we will separate it into the 4 parts. The first one is community ambassador, and the community event, volunteer, and the last one is media. Due to this situation, the biggest objective of this program is maximize the multicultural engagement among the different communities in Australia. And the specific objectives include the 4 strategies. And the first one is increase the number of participants from the Australian and Asian communities. And the second one is strengthen cultural, social, and economic ties with Asian countries through the football. And the third one is provide a better football culture for the next generation. It's according to the education part. And the last one is improve the awareness of becoming the volunteers in mega event. And next, our group member will continue explain the strategies.
Asian Australian community ambassadors are key factors to launch our strategies. They have a bridging function between Asian Football Cup and community groups. What's more, they even bring funding support for this mega event. About the selection, community leaders, politicians, celebrities, event managers, and football fanatics and social media leaders are appointed to be responsible for the communication process. Besides, citizens could vote online to pick up who they wish to become ambassadors. After this selection, LOC will set up a meeting for these ambassadors to allocate their tasks. In addition, the aim of this meeting is to divide them into different groups according to their birthplaces. Then, they have to manage different community events targeting different community groups. As for their stakeholders, local organizing committee is the most important one to describe because that's director of community ambassadors and help them organize. Besides, ambassadors must cooperate with sponsors who provide investment and funding for activities. Then, they need media as their communicating methods to spread the information. What's more, message should be delivered to community groups. At last, they need to engage with local government to help with marketing communication and get permission to hold events.
In our second strategy, our group plans to hold a variety community events in Australia for different community groups. First, a school program will be designed for primary school students, including education program, friendly matches, one-day coach program, and a multicultural exhibition. In the education program, primary school students in Australia can learn English, art, mathematics, and health in sport content through football. It also has an Asian Australia cultural component integrated into the teaching and learning. Also, several friendly matches will be held among multicultural schools. Different schools from different countries can adjust their home uniform to represent their countries. In the one-day coach program, our group plans to invite some famous Asian football stars to be the coaches of school kids, teaching them football knowledge and football skills. Our group will also recommend primary school to hold multicultural exhibition about AFC in their school. Students can learn the history of the AFC and different countries from the exhibition and engage into the Asian Cup. The stakeholders of this strategy are LOC, primary schools in Australia, and famous Asian football stars. Second, we also have football events designed for families. The local schools will be responsible for providing the venues and organizing family football events for their own students to raise the children's awareness of football and increase the engagement of female and children. The school students and their families are from different cultural communities, and the events will bring them together through the football-themed activities, both indoor and outdoor. The school can invite some football coaches and players to teach football skills and attract more participating families. After activities, the family will have barbecue together to increase communication and understanding as well as build friendship. In this strategy, the key stakeholders are schools, families, as well as the coaches and players. Third, the friendly matches will be held among different cultural community groups. The community ambassadors from 200 cultural communities will organize the matches between different cultural communities. After the match, the two teams from different cultural backgrounds will die together to enhance the understanding and building friendship. The key stakeholders of this strategy are the local Australian and Asian communities, community ambassadors, event company as well as sponsors, such as sporting goods stores, restaurants, and the chemist shop. The community ambassadors are responsible for organizing the matches. First, the community ambassadors can appoint an event company to help them organize all the matches because the large number of communities and the complexity of team allocation. Also, each community ambassadors are responsible for selecting football players and forming the team. Moreover, the community ambassadors should attract sponsors to get financial and supply support for covering the cost of the matches and meet the needs of players. The last but not least, the football festival will be organized and held in 5 host cities by turns and involve all the communities and tourists in the host cities. The football festival contains a series of football-themed activities, shows, and multicultural themed art fairs, which is for enhancing the understanding and respect among the different cultural communities. The local marketing department and tourism bureau, as well as Australian tourism, will be take charge in promoting the football festivals and attracting visitors and participants. Also, the media from Australia and Asian countries should be invited to broadcast the football festival for raising the awareness and expanding influence. The government can negotiate with the responsible person who manages the coaches and players to allow them to have a show in the festivals. Besides, the government should attract the sponsors to gain the financial support. The local organizing committee will also participate in the football festivals, except for the stakeholders mentioned above. Other main stakeholders include local community, event participants, volunteers, and artists from diverse cultural backgrounds.
The third strategy is volunteer strategy. In this part, we have 3 questions to ask. The first one is, what should we achieve? In other words, what is our goal? We want our volunteers to be happy of what they're doing, and we want them to feel attached to the event. Also, we want them to be proud of what they're doing. The second question is, who should be involved in our volunteer team? The only principle of our volunteer strategy is no age and no job limits. We welcome all age people from 18 years old to 81 years old to be our volunteers. We also welcome children and disabled people as long as they're with adults and accompanied. We strongly recommend it and encourage family to be our volunteers. Also, we want volunteers from different area and have different skills and knowledge to be our volunteers. The third question is how to achieve our goal. We have 6 ways to achieve the goals. The first one is we provide multicultural representative on advertising poster, just like the picture we show here. We want every people who want to be our volunteer to feel like they're in their family. The second way is we provide same uniforms as well as jackets, caps and so on to every volunteers of our team. We want them to feel they are working in a team and appreciating the team working. The third way is we will take group photos after service and post the photos on the social media such as the official website and the Facebook page. We want them to feel engaged in the event. Next is the multicultural working meals, provide for different people from different countries and different religions, so that they can feel comfortable. Last but not least, we provide training program to each volunteers in order to make sure that they have the standard volunteer service and the same understanding of the volunteer. The stakeholders of our volunteer strategies are: the first one is local communities in each competition cities. They are the main power of our volunteer service. The second one is community organizations such as Volunteer Australia and Go Volunteers. They are very experienced in volunteer area and they can provide training for our volunteers. The third and fourth stakeholders are charity organizations and business groups in Australia. They can provide sponsors such as insurance and food and beverage to our volunteers programs. Also, they can provide volunteer positions for our volunteers. The fifth stakeholders are the governments of Australia and the governments of each states and cities. They can provide some support for our volunteers. And the last stakeholder is media. Media can provide coverage of our volunteer service and also they can provide promotion of our volunteer program.
To make sure maximum media exposure, it is important to take strategies not only during the game, but especially before and after the AFC Asian Cup. Before the game actually opened, the awareness of Asian Cup and the Asian football culture need to be enhanced through print advertisements, outdoor advertisements, as well as banners and slogans to engage as much attention as possible. Newspapers and magazines are helpful to promote these advertisements. Also, business sponsors such as Nike or Commonwealth Bank can be involved to provide funds for marketing activities. State Tourism Administration can help design and release advertisements. In addition, the Asian Football Confederation can host news conference with the cooperation with media to increase the pre-game media exposure. A production of a microfilm features the famous Australian football players as a celebrity to spread football spirit and culture can be released online to engage as much attendance as well. The main stakeholders are AFC and Film Corporation to co-create the online film. During the Asian Cup, we aim to achieve maximum matches broadcast through TV and radio channel. For example, beIN Sports Australia, CCTV5 Channel China, and TBSN Sport South Korea. Research shows that live television coverage of 2015 Asian Cup have delivered to more than 800 million audience across 80 countries. As we all know, Social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat have already become the most effective tool to boost attendee engagement. During the 2015 Asian Cup, Facebook reported more than 60 million related posts. Comments and likes have been generated greatly since the start of the game. During the Asian Cup, users can post something with their country's abbreviation, then their nation flags can be automatically attached. That way, more people will be motivated to actually be involved in and have a deeper connection with the game. Post-event strategies aim to keep engaging audience and making memory alive. For example, interviewing players and spectators after games, encouraging them to have their say on social media platforms, and collecting comments to help post-event management. Also, a post-event hype on social media platform can be created by a photo contest that encourages news followers and photo sharing. Social media platforms and global media are both stakeholders that need to be well organized by the Asian Football Confederation.
In terms of the last part of the presentation, we will explain two ways to examine whether our four strategies can reach the objectives or not. Firstly, survey, face-to-face interview, questionnaire could be used in order to collect the opinions and feelings of participants, tourists, and volunteers after the event. What's more, the number of participants could be seen as the measurement tools of whether the strategies meet the expectation or not. At last, evaluation should be taken into consideration. Taking the aspect of community ambassador as an example, we could launch a meeting to let them share engagement results and exchange their feelings about this event. So, in conclusion, in order to successfully engage multicultural communities in the process of 2023 Asian Cup, we have well addressed four strategies, including community ambassadors, community events, volunteer, and media, as well as the stakeholders involved. In addition, we also work out two methods to be sure our strategies can reach our objectives. So, that's all of our presentation. Thanks for listening.